So Star Wars Outlaws is selling very poorly. This shouldn't be too surprising to anyone. We talked about it yesterday that Star Wars Outlaws is losing stock for Ubisoft, that this game isn't very successful, and there is no interest in Star Wars Outlaws at all. Who could have seen that coming? Yeah, you walk. No one wants to pay $120 to play the full game. Ubisoft. No one wants to pay $120, and the graphics look subpar at best. And it's funny. This is supposed to be a next gen game, okay? And the graphics look subpar, okay? It has that sold very well in the UK. I would say it hasn't been selling very well. Of course, you can say, but what about digital sales? Blah blah blah. But it's selling worse than Avatar's Frontiers of Pandora, which was a tie-in basically to the last Avatar movie, but it seems that newer games continue to sell pretty poorly. And I would be surprised if this is the case digitally as well. It's because more people buying digitally. No, it's part of the case is digitally because people don't like this game. This is a game that people don't like. People don't like it. The fact that the game came out broken, gritty, and the graphics are pretty bad for a next generation game. You have $120 for if you want to complete edition as well. If you want to complete in full experience of Star Wars Outlaws, you have to pay $120. It's the same thing with Assassin's Creed Shadows. I think gamers are finally starting to wake up to the truth about stuff like Star Wars Outlaws. The way I clarify the physical numbers are incomplete. So you should take it with a grain of salt. A digital sales release at the end of the point will see a clearer picture of how Star Wars Outlaws. And Ubisoft investors, of course, are not pleased with Star Wars Outlaws. So it seems that even this game is selling so poorly that it's 55% lower than the last Star Wars game in its launch period. Okay, Outlaws also actually it's over 50% better than the Avatar game, but Avatar doesn't even have a fan base. Okay, it also reached alongside the Avatar movie, I think, and yeah, Avatar doesn't really have a fan base compared to Star Wars. Okay, Avatar doesn't have a fan base, so you're barely being out a game based off a movie that very doesn't even really have much of a fan base. Because yes, people still go out to see the Avatar movies, but that's if they have zero competition at all. Because Avatar: The Way of Water had almost zero competition. You know, if it had like 3 or 4 movies fighting against it, it probably would have done pretty poorly. And had pretty poor legs because hey, there's so many movies coming out. There's so many big movies coming out. Usually nowadays you have like 3 or 4 big movies coming out, and that's usually the case. But they all want to avoid Avatar for some weird reason, and kind of like with the 2019, some holiday box office, everyone wanted to avoid Disney. Everyone wanted to avoid the Disney. Here, I think it's not gonna be the case this year because you have Sony fighting against Disney with Craven, and I think you have that War of the Rings movie coming out as well. You also have Sonic 3 coming out against Mufasa. Mufasa is not going to do very well at the box office because of that, but Star Wars Outlaws is reportedly selling very, very poorly. No one's buying it, no one's playing it, and there's zero interest for Star Wars Outlaws overall. And goodbye.